What is up, YouTube? That's here today. I'm back with more Pokemon VGC 2023 Regulation E ranked battles, and today we're doing more Patreon team fixing. If you guys have a team you want me to take a look at and do my absolute best to fix, please think about checking out the Patreon. The official post is right here. Even the lowest tier, the $2 tier, gets access to this post and all of the other rental codes and stuff like that I post on the Patreon. We're pretty consistent over there, so please think about checking it out if this at all interests you. That being said, like I said, we've been fixing a bunch of these teams. I'm just going down the list. I do my best to get to all of these, and we're all the way right down here to Boston Johnson. They have this team they want me to take a look at that features Garchomp, Gyarados, Goldango, and some really bulky, solid Mons. They're going to be using this team specifically for best of 3 open team sheet, and they say they really wanted me to make a video on this team because they learn a lot by watching and hearing my feedback. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much for submitting a team. Thank you for being a member of the Patreon, and I'm going to do my absolute best to make this team shine. I actually think that they're so smart when they write down all of like the pros and cons about every single Mon, being deliberate about your choices when you're going through these team building steps. It's so important. I do actually like Garchomp a lot compared to Lando. Like, Clear Amulet Garchomp is a good counter to Lando, and Dragon typing is just really good in this format. They were talking about sometimes they feel forced to Terra because there's so many flutters, but like honestly, I don't really think we're seeing like that many flutters right now. So I think that, like, you could always just pivot in your Heatran. I think the biggest answer for how to play this team, if you're ever like pressured to Terra, you can usually always just like swap in Heatran or swap in Dingo, mitigate that damage, and then repin after getting some speed control. But that being said, they're going to be using Gyarados. Gyarados is really good. I think Gyarados is a great Mon on this team. They're going to be using Ogerpon. They say it's solid and have natural bulk. They like the SD set, but I don't think that the SD set is going to be right for this team, especially in open team sheet. I think one of the big things about Ogerpon that makes it good is that it can actually have Follow Me, and so you can bluff that in an open team sheet a little bit better. Goldango, they were talking about maybe using a nasty plot set, and I don't think this team has like the fake out users to really facilitate using a fake out set, or the the fake out users to facilitate using like a nasty plot set, or the redirection to facilitate using that. I think the spec set that they already have right here is just a solid set, and last but not least, a standard like Taunt Torn. It's a really good set. I think it works. I think the only thing we really need to do is clean up some of these EVs a little bit. Some of these EVs are a little bit dated. This was like a series like 2 EV spread I think I used for Garchomp, so maybe we want to clean this up a little bit. We need to let this guy get just a little bit more speed to function and a little bit more aggressive speed tier to be able to actually capitalize off the Thunder Waves and Tailwinds. Heatran needs to be tweaked just a little bit, just a tad, just a little bit. I think this obviously needs to be worked on. This is a solid EV spread for this Mon, and 2v2 on a Sashmon is fine. That being said, again, if you guys have a team you want to think about submitting, think about checking out the Patreon. And before we get into the battles, I will say that San Antonio Regionals is this weekend, so please think about checking it out if you're at all interested in seeing like competitive VGC play from the best the world has to offer. I will be playing there. I'm going to be trying my best to get on stream, and there is sometimes an opportunity where if people are in the chat, they can vote to see the types of players they want to see on stream. I would say if you want to vote for me, I would really appreciate it. We have a really cool team that I've kind of kept under wraps and I'm going to be showing off on stream, and I think it's going to be a good one. So if you want to support me, think about supporting on the mainstream, and other than that, let's get right into these battles. Wish me luck. Here we go. Okay, Reggie Drago, Moltres, Mimikyu, and Decidueye. Decidueye is actually a really cool Mon. Similar to what I was talking about, though, like they were talking about like Garchomp being really afraid of like flutters. The flutters just hasn't really been around that much. A lot of people have pivoted over to using Goldango instead, and Garchomp is a great matchup into Goldango. I do think Garchomp is a good Mon to bring here. Sucks they don't really have any Intimidators, but I'm trying to think like what do we really want to do. I want to make sure this Garchomp set outspeeds Dango. So 162 versus 128. So yeah, we can actually lead like Garchomp Dango into this. Then bring out a mid-game Torn. This is a really good board state for mid-game Torn in my opinion. And another reason why I want to lead like Garchomp and Goldango here, because even if they lead Reggie Drago, they're gonna think, oh man, I'd really like to Dragon Energy that Garchomp, but I don't want to Dragon Energy at Goldango. Or I'd like to Earth Power the Goldango, but I don't want to ignore their Garchomp. So we're splitting up what they can actually do here. And last but not least, we will bring Heatran as a defensive pivot. This is what we do to swap it on Dango. This is what we do to swap it on Reggie Drago. This is what we potentially can do to swap it on like Mimikyu, Moltres, Tornadus. As long as we're avoiding that Decidueye, we're probably going to be fine. And I think Decidueye is probably going to have its hands full dealing with like Tornadus and Garchomp. So that's the idea behind this. I don't think we really want to bring Gyarados here. Remember, Decidueye gets the Scrappy ability, which I'm pretty sure they changed Scrappy to make it so you're immune to Intimidate as well. So yeah, I don't think Gyarados is the right play here. I also think Gyarados is like better off at mitigating damage from like I'm not going to say like a special side, but if like Gyarados gets burned by like a Mimikyu, it's like a fat L for this team. Versus like Garchomp should be able to bully Mimikyu just a little bit more. Let's see if they lead with the Mimikyu. If they were to lead Mimikyu, the reason why we would like this as well would be I could go Rock Slide with Garchomp to break Disguise and then make it rain, finish off Mimikyu. Another thing we can just do here, I wonder if it's going to be Sash Torn. I wonder if I care, because we can actually just click like Rock Slide, Steel Terra, pop them off. We can definitely just do that. And then they bring out their Terra, and we would like, or sorry, they bring out their back row, and then we would go Protect Garchomp, Fodder Dango, bring out Torn, and then EQ, finish out their last two. And this is both their flyers, so we should be able to pin with this EQ. So that is the play. We're going to do this just to respect Sashes. And like I said, we're going to get a double KO here. They're then going to bring out two more mons. We'll Protect with Garchomp, make them, or let them KO Dango, then re-bring out our Torn. That mid-game Torn's going to be pivotal here. So Steel Terra, hopefully we get the KOs. Hopefully they're not going some sort of weird Terra to mitigate our damage like a Steel Terra. I think a Fire Terra is more common on Moltres. Tailwind's absolutely fine. I don't really care that much about what they're doing. Hopefully we don't get flinched by a Fiery Wrath, but like, this is still like the right play, I would say. That's a decent amount of damage. Any flinchers? Garchomp hits the Rock Slide. We take those. Let's see if it's like a policy set on any of these guys. Make it rain. Remember, we Terrastallize just in case, but we mostly Terrastallize just to not die. But this is great. Like, both these guys go down. We can Protect with our Garchomp. Dango is actually still dealing really, really good damage, even at -1, because the Specs kind of balances that out. So right now, we're still technically like a full special attack Dango. But that being said, also, remember, all of their mons that are left are grounded. So, like, I can just EQ, like, everything. Even if it's resisted, like, I can still hit them with that. So let's see what they want to bring out here. Maybe Mimikyu? Maybe Drago? Yeah, Drago's fine. I don't care. Drago's absolutely fine. So Drago Decidueye. Oh, it's the flying Decidueye because it was copying a flying. He's in the flying animation. That's sick. All right, so let's actually think about what we need to do here. We have Terrad. I don't think there's actually an issue with just protecting. I don't think there is. And Dango doesn't really matter that it went Terra because like Decidueye Scrappy could hit it anyway. So we just let the Gold Dango go down. I think there's nothing really wrong with that. And just click to make it rain. Yeah, should be fine. I mean, even if they take out Dango, it's absolutely fine. Let's see if they want a Dragon Energy. Or if they're doing something else. Dragon Energy's fine. It's not going to KO Dango. They need to double into the Dango here. Which is what we want them to do. So it's fine. Yep, we hold them. Let's see where they go after. Triple Arrows. Not bad. That's the right play. Cool. So this guy goes down. I'm trying to think. We could go Torn here. Reset that Tailwind. The issue is Decidueye. I'm thinking if that's a Scarf on the Drago, we might be in for a bad time. We got to get that Decidueye off the board sooner than later. I think I'm going to go Torn here. I think I might pivot in. Because they're not going to triple arrows at Garchomp, are you? You might. It protects on cooldown. I don't want Garchomp to die. And I don't think it outspeeds that Drago. I'm going to pivot in the Heatran on this. And I'm just going to Tailwind. And then we'll be able to bring out our Garchomp, go for a double protect, wait out their last turn of Tailwind, and then go like Rock Slide, Heat Wave, and hopefully get that value that we need. Sounds good to me. And if we can break the Decidueye, I don't think the Reggie Drago breaks our Heatran. That's my idea. That's the idea that I'm sticking with for this one. Yeah, Decidueye is actually like a really good mon. I think people sleep on it. It's valuable. I really thought we were going to see like Mimikyu, and Mimikyu would be a lot easier to deal with here. So Garchomp pivots out. I don't think they're triple arrowsing the Garchomp. I think if anything, they're nuking the Torn slot. That's what I would do. Let's see. There's the Terra. Okay. Wonder why they're tearing here. Terra Drago. Steel, maybe? Is it Steel? I can't really tell. Is it Double Tip Dragon? It is Steel. Cool. So that means that, like, Earthquake is going to just... Heat Wave just melts it. Like, TY. Appreciate you. Alright, so there's our Tailwind. They did that just to, like... Maybe they're ignoring the Garchomp slot, which is absolutely fine. Let's see how much damage this even does. Ooh, that's too much to Heatran. That's a lot. That is quite a bit. And let's see who they're really going into here. I think they're probably... Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Perfect. So we have Garchomp and Heatran. We can go for a double protect, wait out their last turn of Tailwind, and then hopefully just roll them over with like Rock Slide, Heat Wave or something. Man, imagine if Decidueye had like Unseen Fist. Just kidding. Alright, here we go. And then once we have the speed control, we should be fine. As long as Heatran hits at Heat Wave, we should be good to go. Last turn Tailwind, yeah, it's all going according to plan. We just got to hit these moves. So double protect is fine. And then Rock Slide, Heat Wave. I don't want to Earthquake the Heatran. That's the only reason why. You know what I mean? There's nothing else to really do. But they're right now they're like, oh crap. We have to hit Heat Wave and Rock Slide. We have to hit Heat Wave more than the other ones. Protect Drago, so that's going to be on cooldown for next turn. That's great. Cool. Wonder why they're protecting. And they show that the Garchomp's faster than Drago there because people have Tailwinds up. Cool. Hey, works for me. Ooh, they tried to pot shot the Garchomp here. It's surprising. The Rage quit. I mean, they know that the Tailwind's up. So we just take those wins. They go for all that. Next turn, we would just click Heat Wave. Their Tailwind expires. We go Heat Wave, Rock Slide, get a double KO. And we take those wins all the way to the bank. So, they could stay mad, but Garchomp busted. Oh, what is this? Hail with Dozo Glamora, but it's not Tatsu, so I mean, that's fine. Wo-Chien as well, wow. Garchomp is good here. I think Garchomp is viable. I think this is another one of those situations though, where you can just blow things up with Dango. And I know that, like, I'm weird in that, like, I like going into board states where you just use Dango and just blow them up, but, like, it's good. You just win the game, you know, and then you repin him with whatever you want in the back. Like, Heatran's still really, really good here. They can still have Earth Power on Glamora. They can still have a lot of other stuff like that. I don't think you need Gyarados here. It sucks that we're not really seeing the matchups where you would want Gyarados. Things like Urshifu, things like potentially Iron Hands, especially like Hisui, Arcanine, and other Wanderesses. Gyarados would be great against those. We're not really seeing those. Let me think if I would like to even bring Garchomp here. Water Pond is a hard sell because they have so many Freeze Dry Mons. And if we had Follow Me, I would definitely bring it. I would definitely bring it if we had Follow Me. I'm going to bring the Garchomp still. We don't outspeed a lot of those things, but I probably can Fire Terra to mitigate a lot of the value from the Alolan Ninetales. I think Fire Terra on Garchomp is still really good. Poison Terra is another option, but I do like the Fire Terra as well. The only reason why you would want to maybe go like a Poison Terra over something like the Fire Terra on Garchomp is, first of all, Fire Terra does let you block Wisp, but Poison Terra makes you just not weak to Bundle. You just don't ever have to care about Bundle at all. Versus like we then gain a weakness to Hydro Bubble for Fire. So here we go. Bundle Ninetales. It's the exact lead. I'm not going to Terra the Dango. I want to save the Terra for the Garchomp. And we could go for like a taunt here to stop a specific Aurora Veil. But I think I'm just going to try and just get double KOs. So we're just going to go for the Tailwind. So we can make a read, because both those guys get Aurora Veil, I think. But we're just going to try and win. This should still be able to... And don't forget to PP max your Make It Rains. Super, super important, especially on Dango. Because even when you get to like -3, -4, you can still crit and go right through all those stat drops if you're just stuck into it. So Tailwind goes up. Absolutely massive Tailwind. Here we go. And Blizzard. So they're going to try it. No freeze on Dango, please. Okay. It's our Sash. And we know that they're still going to be faster. Cool. Nice. Nice. So yeah, we didn't need to waste our Terra. And again, what was it? The Gold Dango does not outspeed that bundle, but like you can see it, like we don't care. And this is like kind of like what we're talking about. Like a lot of people just pivoted over into like Dango instead of Flutter. And Dango's still like super nuts. This Pokemon's still like crazy. One of the best Pokemon ever made. And so I think like, you know, you were talking about how you didn't really have any cons with this team and you didn't know if you wanted to use like a bulky or nasty plot Dango, but like honestly, like this is one of those things that just kind of does its thing. It kind of just works. And I don't really see a reason to change it. Like you can just force trades. I'm actually going to do this again. I don't think I need a taunt. I'll Bleak Wind to be able to break potential Sash on Glamora. Yeah, Bleak Wind plus Make It Rain is just fine. And we still saved our Terra. Not that much they can really do about this. This should just be a turn 2 win. We're not going to break the Chi-Yu this turn, but then we have a Garchomp, right? So it's like easy peasy lemon squeeze-dees. And let's see what they Terra into. So we're forcing their Terra. I want to see what do they think they can actually Terra into here. Water! That is something they can Terra into. Wow. I don't think I've ever really seen people do that. Usually it's grass. Water's good though. Bleak Wind's going to do some damage. Remember the Chi-Yu's helping us out deal damage against the Glamora. Any speed drops? Nice, nice. Okay, Make It Rain, Make It Pain. We're going to lose both our Mons this turn, but Garchomp just breaks both those at this point. And we want to see who's faster, Chi-Yu or Glamora. Chi-Yu being faster potentially shows us that it is a Scarf set, because Chi-Yu is faster than Glamora, but Glamoras tend to run more speed than Chi-Yu unless the Chi-Yus are like a full speed Scarf set, in my personal opinion. Earth Power is absolutely fine. They're not going to get any KOs because they miss, so we actually get to keep our Torn, which is good because we just bring out Garchomp and just click Earthquake here. So Earthquake, Bleak Boom, we should be fine. And that's going to be game. Yeah, Goldango's great at like facilitating those trades. And it might be like more flashy to go for like nasty plot sets and think like you need to be bigger brain and play the longer game. But like this is one of those things that like this forces something they have to respect. And if they just don't lead correctly, you just win the game. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This should have been like I mean, this is a 3-turn game, you know. This team just hits that hard. It's that good. Double weak when hits again. And yeah. Double speed drop. Oh my god, more. Did we take those all the way to the bank? And then another rage quit. Dude, we're out here gaming today. Dude, I mean, you know, we're talking about like what we want to do to fix the team, right? We're talking about what we want to do to fix the team. Bro, we're getting rage quits on like turn 3 or turn 4 in like every single game with this team. Like it just works. And the thing is, we're going to be able to make it even better. We're going to go into one more game though. And yeah, we're going to go into one more game. And hopefully we keep the win streak alive. Like, dude, hey, we take these all the way to the bank. It's fun featuring teams that are good like this one. So, yeah, let's go into one more game. I'm trying to think, like, Gyarados is a really, really solid mon here. I really like the flying typing on the Gyarados to be able to, like, pair with the Garchomp and pivot in. I think the only issue with this team that you would actually fight is that, like, you're not pivoting and not taking advantage of, like, bluffing a specific type of damage or not fully understanding the value you can get by swapping in like a Heatran and taking 20% and weaving in a Protect and then regaining board state that way, or swapping in Gyarados, protecting their teammate, getting an Intimidate, swapping the Gyarados back out, swapping it back in, and just like getting it valued that way. That's the cool thing about this team is we have really, really polar opposite defensive typings. So you can pivot in all these things and play this very, very methodical game. But that being said, let's go into this last game here. Shiftry. With, I wonder if it's going to manually set. There's that Flutter. Another just raw Dozo. That's weird, but like Water Pawn. I think Water Pawn is beatable. I want to make sure that our Torn does have Protect. Cool. I don't dislike Gyarados here at all. I think Gyarados is a very solid mon. I think Gyarados Garchomp is actually kind of nice. What do you do against this? You just soak Intimidates and lose? I think these two plus Torn with like a late game closer of Goldango is nice. And note that like in these situations, you're seeing me play a lot of mid-game Torn. I'm not a big fan of just like leading Torn and having it die without like trading correctly. So like they have multiple fake out users. They have their own potential Tailwind. So like they could really like hands Shiftry and I'd have to like let them get up Tailwind, let them get their boosts. And I wouldn't really have like Mega Rain's not good against that board, but it is good against like Shiftry in the back or Shiftry in the late game or like an Arcanine. After I've waited out their Tailwind, I set my own. I think that like that mid-game Torn is a really, really solid mon. A lot of people also, when they don't see the Torn, they're like, cool, like I don't need to play a Torn game. And then when the Torn comes out mid-game after you let them take a piece, you re-Tailwind and you hit them in the speed tree they weren't really thinking about. We're in a great spot. Like if they want to go like an Arcanine Shiftry lead and get like a Tailwind up and bully our teammate, that's absolutely fine because then we'll bring out our Torn, flip the Tailwind script on him, and then just EQ everything. You see exactly like that's the lead right there. I said it, Arcanine Shiftry right there. So we're stacking a double Intimidate. We could potentially lose our Gyarados, and that's okay. But like also we just EQ, and you just are sad. I could even SD here probably. I could probably SD here. I wonder if that's gonna be Fairy Terra Arcanine. I wonder. We have Fairy Terra here as well, if we need it. I'm trying to think of what they want to do here, or what I want to do here. I'm probably going to just... I kind of want to just pivot in Dango. And it sounds really weird, right? You just pivot in the Dango. And I'm gonna Rock Slide. They can totally go Fairy Terra. We're doing this just to break Shiftry Sash. And then we're going to let them, like I said, we're going to allow them to get up Tailwind. I don't think we need to stop them or like Terra or do anything drastic. We're going to mitigate damage from Rock Slide. You're not Flare Blitzing a Gyarados. So next turn, you know what you're going to do? You're going to Flare Blitz / knock off into this Dango. Yep, Fake Out doesn't work. Awesome. Rock Slide, we hit first. Hopefully it's not Weakness Policy Arcanine, right? Alright, Wisp. Wisp is okay. Wisp is okay here. We're okay with this. Absolutely still okay with it. Garchomp was there to break Sash. It's nice to KO things, but I wouldn't say it's required. And next turn we're going to pivot in the Gyarados, get a second Intimidate, block that Flare Blitz, and then EQ will KO the Arcanine from there. Even if you Tailwind, I think we're still okay. So pivot in here. EQ here. Good play with the Wisp though. You don't really see it as often. We were respecting more damage. But this should bait them into attacking the correct slot, which is the Dango slot. So they're going to basically trade their Arcanine for probably nothing, unless they're like Flare Blitz burns my Gyarados, you know, never lucky. Let's see, we're absolutely allowing them to get up a Tailwind here. I wish they would have Tailwinded last turn, honestly, just because like I was trying to wait out turns on Tailwind, but we still blocked the Fake Out. They weren't going to Fake Out Garchomp. That's one of the strengths of using Garchomp instead of Landorus as well. Let's see. They're thinking. They're big thinking. I wonder if they're going to knock off the Dango slot, which is still fine. Like, it sucks for Gyarados to lose a Citrus, but like they're double intimidated on that Shiftry. Here we go. Gyarados is back. Pretty obvious switch, but I still think it's the right one. So big double intimidates. We should be able to take the Arcanine out. Protect. Good play from them. I want to see. Are they setting the Tailwind yet? You got that Tailwind yet, buddy? Survey says. Let's see. Good chip still. Tailwind. There it is. So he's going to get a Wind Rider +1 attack boost. Now, I could do two different things here. I could pivot in my Torn, which I think is a solid play, because I think they're probably going to Will-O-Wisp this slot, and I'll swap in my Torn, re-Tailwind there. Earthquake would still pin the Arcanine, and then like once the Arcanine's gone, I don't think they have anything that really stops Dango. We're not going to lose our Torn here by doing this. Worst case scenario, we lose a Sash, but this is fine. Again, we're not really forced into doing anything here. We're waiting out their Tailwinds, we're stacking these Intimidates. We're good to go. And if you miss Wisp, like if you would have missed the Wisp on Garchomp, we would have won a while ago, right? So it's like, I feel like they're taking more risks than we are. We're just slowly but surely mitigating the damage. I wouldn't be surprised if they pivoted out the Arcanine here. It's a good play. It is a good play. But then when they pivot out the Arcanine, we're going to be able to bring that Gyarados back in whenever we feel like it. We haven't Terra'd yet either. Flutter Mane on the pivot. Yo, we take these. I wonder how much damage you actually take from EQ here. This might still do like half. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not. Knock off into Torn. That sucks, but it's okay. They wouldn't hit the Garchomp, so it's fine. We still might want to Terra the Garchomp. Let's see. That's decent damage into Flutter, so we can just protect here with the Torn. I think to protect Torn is going to be a good play. And then we lose the Garchomp to the D-Gleam, and then from there we get to bring out the Dango and go Steel Terra. We're not afraid of any of those boards, and we just pop shot both those guys. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine. The right play here would just be Earthquake just to do it in case they want to pivot in the Arcanine. If they want to get cheeky, they just take some damage here. So protect Torn. Elongates is present on the board just a little bit. Icy Wind. Okay. That could be problematic, but like again, I don't really think we're that afraid. I actually want this Garchomp to go down. Thank you. Appreciate you, friend. You take some chip damage while you're at it. Appreciate you. Good long-time friend. All right, here we go. Yeah, we're just going to be able to come on out with Dango. My poor clear Amulet. Here's Dango. So I think Tailwind plus Steel Terra into like next turn pivot. We should be fine. So Tailwind's here. Now, the Shiftry outspeeds the Dango here. Probably. Shiftry has an 80 base speed. Goldango's 84. They can go for Shadow Ball. They can go for Icy Wind. I think if they were to like Shadow Ball plus knock off, we might lose the Dango. But like, maybe we should have pivoted out Dango this turn and gone for one more bluff play. But let's see what happens here. If they want to show Icy Wind, like it's possible that there's specs on that Flutter still, because they didn't show Booster. So this is my Terra. They're not Terraing yet. I'm not too afraid of like Shiftry knockoff and our Dango. We're actually pretty bulky for a Dango. And if they want to just Shadow Ball us, it won't KO either. You have to double into the Dango. And if you do that, I do get a free swap into my Gyarados, which is a good mon. Tailwind's up. And you'd be ignoring the Torn by doing that too. Icy Wind. Okay, so I think that's the right play. I didn't want to lose the Torn there. So that means they are spexed. They are spexed on that. Just throwing that out there. That does need to have that much special attack investment to be able to KO Torn from that range with Icy Wind. Knock off, this shouldn't KO. Yeah. And so we're going to be able to KO both those guys. And now we actually lost the specs. So like we're still going to get the KO here. But now we have like good mons, potentially check the Arcanine. They're running out of turns on their Tailwind. We're going to be able to stack that Intimidate. I think we're in a pretty decent spot. Goldango's pretty weak right now, but You know, it's something. I mean, there are situations in which Arcanine could get KO'd by like a Power Gem. Note that they still haven't Terra'd yet, so we do still have to watch out for that. But a very common Terra on Arcanine is Fairy, so we might be locking them out of that Fairy Terra by still having Make It Rain here. Iron Hands. Okay. Iron Hands is a good mon here. It's a very, very good mon. I didn't think they'd bring the hands this late. Yeah, that's probably gonna be an L. I'm trying to think of what we can even do against Iron Hands this late in the game. We might have to like flinch it like 8,000 times. And in doing so, they're gonna fake out this turn. I'm trying to think of what I need to do here. The right play would be Waterfall the hands. No, the right play is double into Arcanine, but it might just protect. I think they're probably just protecting the Arcanine this turn. I'm gonna Waterfall the hands because I want to respect them going protect Arcanine, and I think we actually have to like. Which one of these is actually better? Power Gem go to 160. No, it's still better to Make It Rain. Just gotta do it though. I think we have to crit to Make It Rain into the Arcanine, who's probably protecting. Because they're gonna be trying to wait out our Tailwind. I think that what they're probably gonna do is like protect Arcanine and like Drain Punch / like Wild Charge, which is why we're still gonna be. Hey, Fake Out Gyarados is fine. I can't do anything really about that. We still have speed control. So like if we crit this Make It Rain or KO the Arcanine, we are in a good spot. Ah, never lucky. So let's see what they want to do here. Flare Blitz would make it so... Oh, they Rock Slide. Huh. Yeah, I don't think that's right. I don't. It's good. It's a good play. Now they're going to Weave and Protect. So this turn they're going to Protect. Let's think about what we want to do if they're going to Protect. We just Waterfall here. I don't see a problem with like Make It Rain again. We have to start flinching the hands. And I'm thinking about like... I'm like low-key thinking if I should side trick my Gyarados to take its Citrus. There's no reason to take any of their items. It's fine. They're going to protect Arcanine. Oh, Terra here. Oh my gosh, here we are. Here we are. Are you going to go Grass Terra? I mean, this means I can Thunder Wave you if you go Grass. Water, I can now Thunder Wave you. And the issue here is like we need to get flinches. And you can't say that like we don't have shots. We definitely do have them. Protect Arcanine. There it is. They're waiting out the Tailwind. Good play, good play. Let's see if we get any flinches. Survey says big Waterfall. Yep. It's not doing that much damage, but that's not the point. Make It Rain. If we get the flinch here, there are shots that we have. I'll be honest. Can we get a flinch? If we do get the flinch, that's sick. Because then we can like weave in Thunder Waves, and then from there we'll have Paraflinch. Ah, they just get the Wild Charge. Hey, we did our best. We did our absolute best. It's not going to be enough in this game. I think they did a really, really good job. I cannot believe they didn't use hands when they had like that many pivots. Like they sat on that Shiftry and that Arcanine, and they didn't ever once weave in the Fake Out user. I'm not going to lie. I 1000% was planning on this game ending with Ogerpon. I really thought it was Ogerpon. I was leaning into the Ogerpon the whole time. I did not think they would bring the hands. After I saw like the Shiftry Flutter, they could have like pivoted out that Flutter like 3 times for hands and had an absolutely amazing board state. They didn't. So they played this really well disguised in the hands. But that being said, I don't think there's that much we can do about this one. We'll just take the L. And yeah, not much we can do. But we can start fixing some things. I do think that, you know, they played things pretty well. And yeah, there's just nothing really to say about that one. The hands kind of caught us off guard a little bit. Thinking about what we could change here, I think that this guy not having Follow Me is a big problem. I think our Heatran, it's good. It needs a little bit more speed. I think our Gyarados also needs a little bit more speed to actually be able to capitalize off the fact that we have Thunder Wave and Tailwind users. So we're going to go do some fixing. We're going to take a look at the rental code one more time in case anyone else wanted to copy the rental code, because it is a really, really solid team. There's nothing really wrong with it. I probably could have played that one a little bit better. I think it got away from me, but not to take anything away from our opponent, they played really well as well. So this is the rental code one more time. Feel free to copy that down if you want to use this team. I think the Goldango is great. I think Garchomp's great. We just need to tweak a few of the EVs. So let's go do that right now. The Garchomp, I think that if you're comfortable with the fire, you know, in that last game, if we would have actually went for the Fire Terra turn 1, we would have been able to block everything. But that being said, this Garchomp set works. This Garchomp set specifically is made to like live through like Flutters and Chiyu double ups. It's made to outspeed enough things, but it was made before Urshifu was in the game. So if you're getting outsped by Urshifus, which Garchomp versus Urshifu is a weird matchup, especially because they have the Fire Terra. it's kind of lame. You're going to be outspeeding Adamant Urshifus, and I think you just got to be fine with that. But you'd want to get to 168 here if you wanted to outspeed those base 100s. So that being said, if you're finding yourself being outsped by like Urshifus and other mons like that, just think about going to 168. So you still might want to be able to outspeed things like Chi-Yu and Volcaronas, which would get to 168. The Gyarados, though, 102 does not double in a Tailwind or with Thunder Wave to actually outspeeding anything. You need to get to at least 107 to outspeed Dragapult. And then from there, I would recommend getting to at least... you know, you'd want to get to like 120 / like 121 to be able to capitalize off like your Bleakwind speed drops or, you know, any of those numbers. So that being said, the place that I would take this Gyarados is I don't actually think you need like this much. Oh, another thing about your Gyarados is that you're wasting a bunch of points in your nature. So you're giving a plus nature to defense, which is one of Gyarados' lowest stats. So you're giving a plus nature to a really, really low stat, which is a 10% boost to something that doesn't really work. So that being said, I'd probably boost this up here. So if you're trying to get to 169 attack, you can do that by actually like taking out like a lot of these points right here. And so like only need 68 there. What did we have before? We had 110. So like you could just do something like that and just put all these points up here. You get 5 more points in defense just by doing that. You got 5 more points by just using your nature correctly. If you wanted to do that. I don't think we need this much defense. I think what you should be doing is taking out some of these points and putting them at least to 107, which is the same as your Heatran. I would go up to probably... I'd go 113 with Gyarados just to let you outspeed things like base 100s after a speed drop from a Torn Bleakwind. This is what I would do. This is just my personal... flavor on things like Gyarados. From there, I do feel that like physical attackers are everywhere right now. Urshis, you do have Intimidates, yes, so you can just throw like a bulk of this into defense. But then from there as well, like let's just take all these points out. You usually do want to max out your HP for the most part, but you also want to always end it with like an even number, right? So something like this would be able to correctly like max out the HP and make it so if you get hit with like a Super Fang or a Ruination, you still get your Citrus proc. Then from there, like heavy points in defense with like last 4 and Sped F is probably fine. So something like this. So this is the same attack stat that you had before. This is a much faster set that lets you like bully other things, especially like Rillabooms get really bullied by this. And then from there, you have like a bunch more bulk like in your HP. So you're still bulky on the defense side. You're bulkier actually on the Sped F side as well because you're like fleshing on your HP stat, which is a lower number than your Sped F stat. And yeah, it's just more solid. I think Fairy Tale Gyarados, this is like a different way to play. You know, like Banded Arcanine. A lot of people are like, Choice Band is Sweet Arcanine with like Fairy Terra and Terra Blast. This Gyarados is like roughly the same thing. I also, if it were me, I don't think you need Iron Head here. That's just my opinion. I think Protect would be more value, but Iron Head works if you want to keep it. You're only really hitting Flutter with this Iron Head, and like honestly, Flutter, we saw one in the last game. It did have an impact, but like it's just not common enough. And the Flutters that you do see now are so well protected with like Fake Outs, Follow Me's Redirection. They're so bulky now. I don't really think the Iron Head has that value. You might also even want to think about like putting leftovers on this Gyarados, making it just a little bit bulkier with like Protect. I do think that like Protect would be good on this Gyarados. If you want to think about that, think about it. Nah, I'm gonna put it there. Protect's a really good move. You could even put like Icy Wind on this Gyarados and have like Icy Wind, Thunder Wave. That's double speed control. It's really, really good. But this set works. I think it's fine. As for this Heatran, see 107 lets you outspeed Pulp, which is good. I think this is the bar minimum for like what you need on Heatran. That being said, I want to make sure that you're correctly utilizing your leftovers HP by dividing it by 16. I think that this does, but let me just make sure. 190 divided by 16. Nope. All right, so we want to actually put a lot more points. I think we actually put like a lot more points in HP on Heatran. 196. Nope. 194. And so what I'm doing right now is basically making sure that you're getting the maximum amount of health restored by leftovers without like over putting health in these points. So we're finding the exact lowest number, dividing it by 16 until it like evenly divides into that. And in doing so, we're not having to waste points. 192 is the number we're looking at here for Heatran to optimize leftovers. So like you could put all these other points in here, but like in reality, to get your maximum amount of leftovers restored, it's like when you're calcing something. Like when you're going to be calcing this Blizzard, right, against like another Mon. You know, you want to find the exact amount of HP to find the right bump into the next percent that you want. This is the same thing with this Mon. So 204 is a better number there. I think this is a good speed stat, but I think, like, honestly, I don't really like that much special attack on Heatrans, in my opinion. I think that your nature does a lot of the heavy lifting. That being said, on a set like this that has like 3 different moves, you should still have a lot of attack. So I don't think there's anything really wrong with keeping this much. I remember in like one game we played against like the Reggie Drago player, I was kind of happy that we had like a really strong Heatran. And I do think on a leftover set like this, this is fine. This has enough speed to outspeed Pult in a Tailwind. This has enough bulk to be able to be bulky and restores enough from leftovers now, so it's fine. As for this Ogerpon, I really think that like Swords Dance is cool, but you don't need 2 Swords Dance mons. Like that's just not a thing. You want to actually have the follow me, so you can lead like Ogerpon and Garchomp and say, I'm going to click Swords Dance with Garchomp, I'm going to follow me until my Ogerpon goes down, then I'm going to bring up my Torn and I'm going to win the game. You need this follow me user to actually make the rest of our team work correctly with the slight setup moves that we have. And that being said, I don't think you need like this much speed. I think you should be outspeeding Urshifu, right? So let's plug in Urshifu. Let's plug in Urshifu if I can type it. So Urshifu Rapid Strike, and the reason we want to outspeed this guy is because we want to hit this guy pretty hard. So when Urshifu is a 97 base speed and they're 252 Jolly, they get to 163. So we need to get to 164, which we are still going to have to be Jolly to do. I don't know if the one that you submitted was Jolly or Timid, or sorry, Jolly or Adamant, but it is what it is. So we don't need this much speed. We need right here. And so we also speed group that, we bump it by 1 point, just because like by putting your nature, you get an extra compound in there. So that being said, you now have all these extra points to do whatever you want with. I would put the brunt of them in HP since it's a lower base number than the other numbers. And so I would do like a 4, 4, and 92. So this lets you outspeed Urshifu. This lets you potentially KO the Urshifus with things like Horn Leech to make sure that Water Punk can even do that. We might have to go Power Whip, which I mean, it sucks, right? But, like, it is what it is. If it is what it is. Yeah, it doesn't KO, but Power Whip does. Now, you might be one of those people that's like, oh, I don't use non-accuracy moves. And to be fair, you don't need to. Oh, not Power Trip, Power Whip. But Power Whip gets that KO every time, even get some Urshis that have some investment. So, like, I think this is one of those situations where, like, I would put the Power Whip here. I found myself actually playing in mid-season last weekend, where, like, the opposing Ogerpon had Power Whip as an option, and I'm like, they could miss that. I'm going to lead Urshi. Because, like, I didn't know if they were going to even commit to going for it. They went for it. Not only did they hit me, they crit me. I lost the game. And, like, I wouldn't have actually fallen for that bait if they would have just had, like, Horn Leech. I would have just been like, nah, I'm good. But the fact that, like, they had the Power Whip, I kind of leaned into it. All they had to do was hit a move that, like, they're going to hit 85% of the time. It's not like it's even an 80. It's an 85. Power Whip's not bad. Especially if you have this, like, full attack investment. Solid mon. So, yeah, think about Power Whip. We already talked about Dango being fine for this sort of set. I like the exact move set. Tornadus. I know you talked about having Taunt, and we can totally leave Taunt because it seems like that really works for your playstyle. Amoonguss does give this team a lot of problems if you don't have Taunt, so that's fine. That being said, I would like to see maybe Icy Wind. Icy Wind would make it a lot easier to lead the Torn because, like, we can then set Tailwind, and if we don't die, we get an Icy Wind to have more speed control. So if you're ever going to be leading your Torn, think about making an Icy Wind set. Last thing here is you could probably make this guy Ghost. What I like doing here is double dipping the flying. That's just my thing that I like. I like being able to do a little bit extra damage against other Ogerpons. So if Ogerpons and Amoonguss are giving you problems, this is going to let you double dip and deal just enough to do more than half both times so they can't, like, swap in. If they try and, like, swap in and soak damage, doesn't work. So that I like this more than Steel. Steel wasn't really doing anything. There's no reason to have that defensive Terra on a Sashmon. And you could say, well, let's make sure I don't lose my Sash to Sandstorm. It's like, that's fine. We don't care about that. You know, just bring Torn in the mid game, break their T-Tar with, like, all of our mons that break their T-Tar. You know, so we don't really need to care. So that being said, yeah, I think this is a pretty solid change. What we're going to do now is go and play some games on Pokemon Showdown and hopefully get some big wins. We're going to do best of 3, open team sheet, because that's what we're testing for. That's what the team was tested for. So, Ogerpon, Shempao, Urshi, Dango. So let's check out their team. We see Firepon with Cudgel, Grassy Glide, because it's going to be a Grassy Glide spam team. Sash Shempao with Protect. Note that they don't have... No, that's the right set. They don't have, like, Throat Chop or anything like that. We see a standard Mystic Water Urshi, a Specs Dango back. We don't know how fast they are, but we might be faster. A Vested Rilla, and a Booster Energy Roaring Moon. So really, really good stuff. We do have advantage if we would like to set Tailwind. If we would like to set Tailwind, we can. There's nothing they can really do about it. I think that, like, Tarvos. I think this is a solid lead. I think Gyarados is good here. Gyarados, Torn is good. I think bringing in Garchomp in the mid game is going to be really, really solid. And this is where I think, like, against Shenpao doesn't really like dealing with Water Pond that much. I think we could try the Water Pond for game 1. For game 1, I think we can try Water Pond, because Water Pond also has a good matchup into their Urshi. So they have double Fake Outs, they have their Tailwinds. What we're going to do is just double Protect. We could even, like, swap in them on. Remember, they have, like, knockoff Acrobatics Tailwind, but the fact that we've soaked the Fake Out into that, not soaked the Fake Out, soaked the Intimidates, we're in a good spot. Yeah, I'm just going to double Protect. You see the value in having that Protect on that Gyarados? It's kind of nice. It's kind of just great. And, yeah, let's see what they're going to do about it. I do not care if they Tailwind. I don't want to get Fake Outed. I don't want to lose my Sash. I didn't have to protect Gyarados here, but I didn't want to risk getting, like, doubled up into. I didn't want that at all. So that being said, what do we want to do this turn? We have the Terra Blast here, if we want to go Fairy Terra. They have Flying over there, so we could. I don't see an issue with just clicking this. I really don't, because we will trade very, very effectively with them. But that being said, do we have to? Not really. Like, we're not really even afraid of any of these guys. We stuck the Intimidate. That was the hard part. They're probably going to knock off this slot, and so you can't knock off this. So we would pivot in right there. I'm just going to Bleak Wind. Like, I'm not really threatened yet. I'm not threatened. There's the Flying Terra. Hey, go for it. I don't think you break me, though. Yeah, see, like, I don't need to set Tailwind. We're not in any rush. Right? Not in any rush. And you're pivoting on a Bleak Wind, my guy. And we just double missed it. Well, you can't tell me I didn't make the right play, because I did. I definitely did make the right play. Well, that being said, they have Grassy Glide here, and they do outspeed. So we could Follow Me Away and Tailwind. I think what I'm going to do this turn, though, is just Spiky Shield, which is Protect. And then I'm going to pivot in the Gyarados and Tailwind. Hopefully that'll protect me from the Grassy Glide. If we would have hit that, that would have been great. Cudgel. Okay, cool. They're not even trying to Grassy Glide KO that guy. Cool. So pivot in the Gyarados here. Tailwind. They're going to be on their last Tailwind turn, and then we're going to double, like, go into this guy and try and stop them from Tailwinding. I can't believe we double missed that Bleak Wind, dude. Never lucky. All right, Gyarados soaks some damage. Popped here. Let's think about the right play. Garchomp might actually be really good here. Yeah, I like the Rock Slide. Rock Slide plus Waterfall into this will probably get the KO. Yeah. Ooh, cool. That works for me. I ain't doing anything else today. You know, free damage. We take free damage. And now their booster energy's gone. Like, we're good. That's some great damage. Cool, and now this guy's ready to get taken out whenever I feel like it. No more terrain either. That was just wonderful. Okay, so let's actually think about this. They're going to U-turn. Or Fake Out. I don't really care. I'm going to Thunder Wave. No, I'm not. I think that I'm fine to Waterfall. I think I'm going to Waterfall over there. I'm thinking about if I actually would like to click Swords Dance. But I actually think, like, Waterfall Rock Slide's fine into the Water Pond, because it's on cooldown. It's great damage here. Any flinchers? Oof, almost got the KO there. Grassy Glide, they will KO themselves to Rough Skin. Great. And let's see if they're U-turning. Flinch, we take those all the way to the bank. Yo, value. Value has been exerted. All right, so they have Goldango here, and we got that big EQ. Note that we never terrored that Gyarados. See the value here. They already terrored the Roaring Moon. I think that we can just, let's see if the Goldango has Protect. It doesn't. It's Specs, so we just Waterfall that slot and EQ. Yep. Take that guy out. This is my last Tailwind turn. So now they're going to be able to value. Oh, they're going to be able to reset the grassy terrain too. Good play. And they get a Fake Out pin. That's very nice. It's very, very good for them. That was sick. Cool. So we have a Water Pond that hasn't... We still haven't terraed, right? I don't see a reason to terra. They're going to have to go Fake Out plus... Sorry, they're going to have to go Fake Out plus Tailwind to even get any value here, I think. Fake Out Gyarados is fine. Almost within range. Ooh! Knocks off our Citrus, but... Rock Slide comes in. Waterfall comes in. Ooh, we got the flinch. Sorry, Waterfall doesn't come in yet. But yeah, we have Water Pond that hasn't terrored yet, so we just do it to lose its typing. So we're good. Doesn't really matter what happens here. Waterfall plus Rock Slide, and we're good to go. The Acrobatics, the Garchomp to take the L. Yeah, we take those. So that's going to be game one. They played very, very well, but like you see how we mitigated the damage? We used the fact that like Water Pond's item can't be knocked off and had the Intimidates to our advantage. It was really, really solid. So they just dipped. They're like, no, I'm not even playing the best of 3. We did such a good job in the first game that they're like, I can't beat that. And like, what else could you even ask for? We wasted their Terra. We even had the game. We actually like won the game like on turn 3. Like, if we're taking a look at these turns here, that turn where we weaved in that Bleak Wind, it was turn 2, right? We actually had the game won like right here, where we swap in, potentially make it so that they did want to knock if it doesn't do anything, soak the U-turn, and then reply back with a double Weak One. We would have solidified putting their hands within KO range for our Ogerpon, and we would have done like well over half to their Ogerpon. So we would have won the game right there if we hit both those, not to mention any speed drops we would have had. So really, really solid stuff. You can see the Protect on the Gyarados was very valuable. The changes of the speeches we had made us more comfortable and more confident in the plays. I know for me, personally, using Gyarados, I was a lot more confident using it with the speed that we invested, being able to know that we could always outspeed their Rillaboom if we had the same speed tier levels. So as long as no Tailwinds were up on either side or anything like that, Gyarados would normally be outspeeding the Rillaboom. So hopefully you like these changes. If you did like these changes, think about, if you're a viewer that liked these changes, please think about checking out the Patreon. Even, like I said, the lowest tier, the $2 tier, gets access to all of these teams. I fix all these teams. I give back all these rentals. There's tons of rentals. Every other day I make a new post showing you a new team that I've featured on YouTube or just other cool ideas that I have. I'm going to be showing my San Antonio Regionals team on there, a bunch of my other tournament teams. Please think about checking out the Patreon if you've never checked it out before. There's a bunch of different tiers with a bunch of different rewards. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to watch the regional this weekend. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. I'll see you guys next time.